our strength and core workout. We're going to be working our total body without having to get up off of the floor. There are 7 circuits in the workout. There's a warm-up circuit and a cool-down circuit, and then 5 circuits where we will be doing an exercise that is bilateral, meaning we're going to be using both sides of the body, and then we're going to break it down into unilateral movements, so the right side and then the left side, and then we'll come back to that bilateral movement to end it, and then we'll only do each circuit 1 time. For 3 of the circuits, you're going to need a set of dumbbells. If you're more advanced, you're probably going to want anything from about 8 to maybe 15 pounds, but 15 is probably pretty heavy. If you're a beginner, you're going to want 3 to 5 pound dumbbells, and if you don't even want to use dumbbells for a couple of the moves, you can do them without dumbbells. All right, so go ahead and while the intro plays, gather your equipment, get your mat, get your music going, and then meet me right here on the mat, ready for the workout. All right, guys, we're going to begin on our hands and our knees in a tabletop position for some cat-cows. I'm going to go ahead and get the timer going, and when you hear the bell, we're going to come into a cow pose. So I want you to think about leaning with your tailbone. Tailbone lifts and the gaze lifts on an inhale, and then with an exhale, tuck your tailbone under, draw your chin in towards your chest. Inhale, tailbone lifts, collarbone spread wide, gaze lifts, and then exhale, tailbone tucks under, chin draws in towards the chest. Inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. All right, we're going to come into some thoracic rotations. Bring your right hand behind your head. Take an inhale, bring your elbow up, and exhale, bring that right elbow to the left elbow. Inhale, open. Exhale, right elbow to the left elbow. Inhale to open. And exhale, finding that thoracic rotation. Inhale. Exhale. Pulling your belly button back towards your spine. Okay, you can sit back and kind of shake out your wrists if you need to. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So bring the left hand behind the head. Inhale, elbow up towards the ceiling. Exhale, left elbow to right elbow. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist. Inhale, Fiona, stop. Exhale. In case I forgot to introduce my assistant, this is Fiona. I think she's more cat than dog. All right, now we're going to come into a child's pose for the last block of this warm-up. So big toes touch, knees towards the wider edges of your mat. Sit your hips back onto your heels and walk your fingertips forward. You can press your fingertips into the mat, maybe rock your shoulders side to side. Just getting a nice stretch here before we come onto our backs for our first circuit of the workout. And for that first circuit, we won't need any equipment. This feels so good, I kind of want to just stay in that child's pose. Okay, very carefully come up, shift your weight onto one hip, and then onto both glutes. Go ahead and lower yourself down onto your back. We have 20 seconds until our workout starts. Pull your belly button back towards your spine, lift your knees over your hips, and your shins are in a tabletop. And our first move is going to be a dead bug press. And so what that is you're going to bring your palms to the fronts of your knees, and you're going to press your knees back into your palms. Join me as you press your palms into your knees. So like you're trying to press your knees away, but you're also trying to press your palms away. Pull your belly button back towards your spine, and you should start to shake throughout your entire body. This is a very deep core move here, so turning on all of those deep core muscles. Continuing to knit the front ribs in towards one another. Okay, hug your knees into your chest. So now we're going to come back up into that tabletop. Bring your arms down by your side, and we're going to be working on our right side only. Take an inhale as your right heel touches the mat, and exhale as you bring your right knee back up in line with your left. Inhale, exhale. Keep that low back, flat against the mat. Inhale, exhale. So the low abs are really working here. Okay, hug the knees into the chest, rock side to side, and then go ahead and tabletop the legs again. Bring the arms back down by the side, and we're going to do the same thing on the left. So inhale, left heel touches the mat. Exhale, left knee in line with the right. And you can really exaggerate that exhale. Nice deep inhales. Exhale. So if you aren't feeling your core muscles here, we need to have a conversation. Okay, hug the knees into the chest. And then we're going to end this circuit with the same move we started with. So tabletop the knees, press the palms into the knees, knees back into the palms, and we're on for 30 seconds. And our next circuit is going to focus on our glutes. We're going to start out with a hip bridge, and then we're going to take a hip bridge march on the right, a march on the left, and then we're going to go back to our hip bridge. All right, hug your knees into your chest. We have 30 seconds. You can turn some circles in one direction, turn some circles in the opposite direction. Just let it feel good. All right, so for our hip bridges, our feet are flat on the ground, our knees are bent, and our heels are in towards our bum. I want you to imagine that you're hugging a ball or a pillow between your inner thighs. Bring your arms down by your side, and when you hear the bell, we're going to take an exhale breath. Press all four corners of our feet into the mat, squeeze your butt, lift your hips. And then inhale, roll down, one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, press into the heels, lift the hips. And inhale, lower with control. Squeeze those inner thighs like you're hugging that block or that pillow. All right, so now we're going to do a glute march. So we're going to press up into our right foot, and you're going to draw the left knee in towards your chest. Keep that left knee bent. Lower your hips, and then lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. So really squeezing that right glute. And when we start to lower, we start up by our shoulders and our tailbone comes down last. All right, now we're going to switch it out. So we're going to plant the left foot. We're going to lift the right foot from the mat. Pull your belly button back towards your spine. And exhale as you draw that right knee in towards your chest. Press through the left heel. And if this is too much, you can bring that right foot back down to the mat and just press into both feet. So really waking up this left hamstring and the glute on the left-hand side. And I don't want you pressing your hips so high up to the ceiling that you compromise your low back. We need to be turning on those glutes to stop our hips before they press up to the ceiling. Okay, so we're coming back to the double-sided glute bridge. It should feel nice and spicy. Exhale, squeeze your butt, press into all four corners of your feet, and then inhale, slowly roll down. I don't know if you can hear that. It's the last day of school around here. My neighbor across the street is a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and every year she has the wildest end of the year party with all of the teachers at her house. It's pretty awesome. Okay, hug your knees into your chest. We're moving on to our next circuit. So you're gonna need your dumbbells. Very carefully grab them. And we're gonna come into a chest press. So elbows bend 90 degrees, and you're gonna press the dumbbells up over your chest. So go ahead and grab your dumbbells and join me at the bell. So start with your elbows and the backs of your arms on the mat, and then exhale to press the dumbbells together over your chest, not over your face. And we're not slamming the heads of the dumbbells together. We're actually using a little bit of gravity and chest muscle to prevent them from slamming into one another. If you want to make this a little bit harder, you can tabletop your knees. It brings your core into the equation just a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to start with the dumbbells extended, arms long over our chest, and we're going to keep the left arm extended, and we're just going to press the right dumbbell up towards the left. And again, using that chest strength to stop that right dumbbell from just slamming into the left. If you want to make it harder, keep your low back glued to the mat and tabletop the knees. But again, you can keep the feet flat on the mat. Okay, so now we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So dumbbells remain extended to start. Pull your low back to the mat, and then inhale, bend the left elbow. Exhale, press the left dumbbell to the right. And again, if you want to make it harder, you can tabletop the knees. But you should not be able to slip even so much as a sheet of paper between your low back and the mat. All right, so now we're going to do chest presses with both dumbbells again, back to the bilateral movement, meaning both sides. We just did unilateral, meaning each side in isolation. And if you're just whipping through these moves, you probably need heavier dumbbells. It's silly to think that we're going to grow if we continue to use the same dumbbells. You're strong, you can lift heavier. If this is your first time lifting, stick with what you've got. All right, that was the end of that circuit. Our next move is going to be a tricep move, which is a skull crusher. So you're going to carefully pick up those dumbbells. You're going to bend your elbows, and you're going to bring the heads of the dumbbells to your ears like they're telephone receivers. And then as you exhale, you're going to press the dumbbells up towards the ceiling. All right? At the bell, we're going to start. So feet flat on the mat. Exhale, press the dumbbells up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, bring those telephone receivers back by your ears. Imagine that you're squeezing a bowling ball between your elbows, and you don't want to let that thing fall on you, right? So you've got to keep those elbows hugging in towards one another, and it's the muscles in the backs of our arms that are working. Be careful not to let the dumbbell hit your head as those telephone receivers come down. Okay, so this time I'm going to keep the left elbow bent with that receiver by my ear, and I'm going to press the right side. If it's too much on the left, you can just extend the dumbbell up towards the ceiling. It's a lot of extra work to keep that elbow bent. You can really feel it in my tricep, and then don't let that elbow splay out to the side. Oh goodness, saved by the bell. Okay, bring both arms down by your side for a minute. That's gonna be really hard on the left. Okay, right stays bent, receiver at the ear, and the left is lifting and lowering. Not gonna lie, the last 30 seconds is gonna be really difficult, but that's okay. We're up for the challenge. That's what we came for. Our triceps are gonna be so much stronger. Keep pressing that low back into the mat. And don't just drop the dumbbell, even though you might want to. Okay, shake out your arms, give yourself a little hug. And then when you're ready, go ahead and pick those dumbbells back up, bring those telephone receivers by your ears, and press. Hug that imaginary bowling ball between your elbows. I might get to failure on this set, guys, which means my arms are like, nope, you're not lifting anymore. And if you do, that's okay. Take a break, and when you can jump back in, jump back in. It is getting increasingly difficult to press those dumbbells. Oh my goodness, I could not have done another rep. Okay, put the dumbbells down by your side, cross your ankles, and then rock and roll a couple of times the length of your spine, and come up onto your bum. And then we're going to come onto our hands and our knees, not for the camera, Fiona, thank you. And we're going to come into an alternating row. So just rowing one dumbbell back to your hips and then the other. If you're more advanced and you want to come into a plank, go ahead and come into a plank for this. My arms are pretty tired here. So we're starting the movement between our shoulder blades, and then we row our elbow back towards the wall behind us, bringing the head of the dumbbell towards our hip. Fiona, stop. All right, and now we're gonna only do that on the right side. I shouldn't say only, we're going to stay on the right side only. So my left hand will stay on that dumbbell. Pull your belly button back towards your spine, and at the bell, we're gonna row the right side in isolation. So looking towards the front of your mat, keep your neck and your head in line with the rest of your spine. Fiona. All right, so go ahead and give your wrists a couple of turns, come off of your hands, and we're gonna row on the left in isolation. So tailbone slightly tucked under, belly button pulled back towards the spine, and then think about initiating the movement from the spot between your shoulder blades. Again, the elbow draws towards the wall behind you as the dumbbell comes up towards your hip. Okay, and now we're going to go back to the bilateral movement, meaning we're going to alternate sides. So go ahead and reorganize. Make sure your palms are under your shoulders, knees are under the hips, gaze is forward. So if you want to make this harder, you're going to come up onto your toes, and you're going to pull your toes towards those dumbbells, and you're going to pull those dumbbells back towards your toes isometrically without actually moving. And this is our last movement of the workout. We're going to come into our cool down circuit. So put those dumbbells carefully off to the side. You need to stop. And we're going to come down into a child's pose. So big toes to touch, knees out wide. Walk yourself down, fingertips reaching towards the front of the mat. And we're going to ignore the next bell, and we're just going to stay here in the child's pose. Taking some nice deep breaths. Breathe some of that breath into your arms, your shoulders, your core. If it feels good, you can press your fingertips into the mat, kind of lifting your elbows away from the mat. All right, we're gonna come into a downward facing dog. So first come into a tabletop, walk your hands out about a palm's distance, tuck your toes, and then lift your hips up and back, nice deep bend in the knees, and then you can pedal out the feet, just bending deeply into one knee as the opposite heel finds the ground, and then switching it out. Gazing back between your legs. Ears are in line with the biceps, and then you're pressing those palms forward like you're pressing the mat away from you. Okay, find a deep bend in your knees and just walk your fingertips back to your toes. And with your knees bent, rest your belly on your thighs and come into a nice deep forward fold. You can begin to sway side to side. Let your head hang heavy. This is called ragdoll pose. So you can imagine that your upper body is limp like a ragdoll. Lower body from the waist down is stationary, not moving. And then slowly tuck your tailbone under, roll up to stand, and we're just gonna do some side bends. So the right arm is gonna come up and over to the left, and then come up through center and switch it out. Left arm is gonna go up and over to the right, reach those fingers over to the right, and then let's just do one more. Each side, stretching out the arms, stretching out the upper body. Both arms up, and then bring your hands down. Give yourself a pat on the back. Virtual high fives to everybody. Guys, until the next time I see you, be good to yourself, be good to everyone around you, and look for the good out there in the world. Stay safe, and I will see you back here on the mat very soon.